So we will start with this this short bhajan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivaradari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivaradari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivaradari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivaradari, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachani, Yamuna Tira Vanachani, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishaka Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayasta Padreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuti. Okay, I do not know why this is here. Is it showing on the screen also, Prabhu? Okay, so last week we spoke about, we went deep into these 4 verses. Anush Prabhu, can you just adjust the monitor here by going a little bit out so that it looks a bit bigger? Okay, very nice. So remember, these verses, they describe Krishna. How does Krishna look like? Sukadev Goswami is describing Krishna. Okay, so it's not that some artist, just decides to paint the Lord based on how he feels. No, this is exactly how the scriptures are saying Krishna looks like. Okay, Krishna is ever youthful. Now, always looking young. Even when he was 100 years old, even when he was fighting the war, he was always looking like a 16-year-old boy. Okay? So his mouth expresses his happiness. His eyes are spread like the petals of a lotus. His garments, yellowish like the saffron of a kadamba flower, are bedecked with valuable jewels. And the ornaments, they are made of gold set with jewels, and he wears a glowing headdress and earrings. Right? And then the lotus feet are placed on the halls of the lotus-like hearts of the great mystic. On the chest is the Kasturba jewel, engraved with a beautiful calf, and there are other jewels on his shoulders. His complete torso is garlanded with fresh flowers. Right? And he's well decorated, right, with Vajanti Mala, right, with rings, etc. So beautiful. And what the yogi does is he traverses from the lotus feet of the Lord all the way to the face. Okay. So while doing this, right, the yogi, while he's meditating on the form and features of the Lord, what is happening is progressively he's getting purified and purified and purified. Why? Because the image of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. The image of Krishna is non-different from Krishna and is spiritual in nature. Since the image of Krishna is spiritual in nature, all the anarthas in our heart will progressively get dissipated. Okay? So now let's take a pause here and ask ourselves, is the Zoom still there, bro? Yeah. Yeah, I'll stop sharing. Hare Krishna, Sharda Mataji. Okay, so Hare Krishna, Krishna Prabhu. Why is it that, despite the sadhus being able to visualize the Lord based on the descriptions from the Bhagavatam, right? And they become purified and purified and purified, and there's an amazing attraction for the Lord, right? But why is it that we cannot perceive this? Why is it that we cannot experience this? Okay. The sadhus can perceive Krishna in their heart, and they are, communicating with Krishna. They are always communicating with Krishna, right? So there was once a reporter asked Srila Prabhupada in the US in the 1970s, Swamiji, where do you get all the money to run your organization from? He says, from Krishna. No, I understand. Theologically you may say it's from Krishna, but where do you get the money from? Prabhupada said, from Krishna. He says, no, you're not understanding my question. The reporter is saying, where do you actually physically get the money from? And Prabhupada said, I'm getting it from Krishna. And then Prabhupada said an amazing thing. He said, I can communicate with Krishna, all right, as Paramatma in my heart. And Krishna can tell the Paramatma in your heart to give me $5,000 and you will not be able to do anything about it. Right? That was Prabhupada's answer. The reporter got nervous and he said, okay, thank you very much. All right. So the Paramatma in our heart will sometimes, inform us, yes, we need to do this. Because the sadhus are able to communicate with the Lord in their hearts. Okay. There was once more a reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, how do you come up with the leaders in your movement? Prabhupada said, Krishna tells me. Yeah. Theologically speaking, yes, Krishna tells you. But tell me practically, how do you decide? Do you have a test for them, or etc.? He says, no, Krishna tells me. And then one of his servants, Rameshwar Prabhu, said that, tried to give some purport to what Krishna was saying. And he said, oh, dear reporter, what Prabhupada is trying to say is that if you look at, the Bhagavad Gita, the ideal leader's qualities are explained. So this is what Prabhupada is saying. Prabhupada stopped him and said, no, Krishna tells me. Krishna tells me in my heart who I should be, selecting as the leaders in the movement. So like this, you can see that a sadhu, a pure devotee, is able to communicate with Paramatma in the heart. In today's words, we say this is intuition. I have that strong intuition in me that this is going to happen, right? So this is how Paramatma is communicating with us sometimes. But don't be fooled. Sometimes the mind will tell us. The mind will tell us. And we will think, oh, Paramatma is telling us. No, we have to be very, very careful. So the question now is, what is the qualification we need to communicate with Paramatma in the heart? Okay, so those of you who have gone for like 10 different Bhagavad Gita classes, series of classes, think about this. What is the qualification we require to be able to communicate with Paramatma? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita very, very clearly. Anyone likes to try? Yes, Kishan. Uh-huh. 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 Very good. That is the process. But what is the final quality which a devotee has? I agree with you. A devotee should have that clear intention of wanting to communicate with the Lord, to serve the Lord, etc. But what is the final result of that intention and the entire process? Simple living. Simple living, noble thinking. Okay. Detachment, exactly. Yes, Prabhu. Purity, exactly. Detachment and purity simply means you are able to control your senses. That is the qualification. Yes, Prabhuji. Blessings, yes, the grace from the Lord. The mercy of the Lord is also important. You can do whatever you want, but if you do not get the grace from the Lord, no. Yes, Prabhuji. Quality. Correct. The network connection comes exactly from what your next door partner is telling. The mercy has to come. Correct. Very nice. Okay. But what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita is, for one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is reached. Okay. Go back home today, refer to this particular verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. For one who has conquered the mind, if you can conquer the mind means you can control your senses. If you can control the mind, that means you are a Goswami. Go means the senses. Swami means someone who is able to control. So you can control your senses if you have controlled the mind. So if anyone asks you what is the most important ingredient, someone who has controlled his mind, therefore can control the senses, he becomes a Goswami and he can communicate with the Paramatma. ठीक है भगवान जी? Okay, Bhagwan ji as in person Bhagwan. Yes, Prabhuji. Sure. Along with the mind now, what Prabhuji? Intention. Yeah. Correct. Okay, very good. So that it should start with a clear intention, as what Kishan ji is saying, as what Prabhuji is saying. Wonderful. Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. I want to tell you, I feel today. Sure. Today we see annual anniversary of death. I got the information that we will start at 9 o'clock. And with a friend of mine, we discussed what time we should reach. So I said I'll be here at 8:45. Sure. Precisely, attend it on. I think we Yeah, very kind, Prabhuji. Yeah, but please go and do the Havan, you know. You do the Havan, all of us will get benefited, Prabhuji. Go for the Havan. You had a clear intention of wanting to go to the Havan and to serve the Lord. Okay, so the 4 verses which we saw on the screen by Sukadev Goswami tells us that Krishna is so beautiful, nothing compares, right? Everything else is transitionary, right? Everything else is transitionary beauty. So, Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita that whatever amazing things which you see in this material world are just a speck or a spark of my glory, right? So if you see a beautiful woman, tell yourself that, wow, if she's so beautiful, can you imagine how more beautiful the creator of this person is? There was one Srila Prabhupada was in the airport together with a young brahmachari who was serving him. A beautiful air stewardess passed by. The brahmachari was just looking at her. Prabhupada looked at him and said, wow, very beautiful, eh? He didn't know what to do. The brahmachari, he said, if I say yes, my Guru Maharaj will think, what a rascal I am. If I say no, I am also lying. So he just kept quiet. Prabhupada said, yes, she's very beautiful. But what can you do about it? You can't do anything about it, right? And more importantly, tell yourself that, wow, if she's so beautiful, right? If the particular scenery which we go to for a holiday is so beautiful, can you imagine the beauty of the artist the beauty of the creator behind this. So amazing, right? Okay. So as I said earlier on, as you know, Prabhuji's discussed, the mind just becomes purified by taking darshan of Krishna. In the in the Bhagavatam, there are two amazing characteristics of Krishna's beauty which are propounded. One of them is the smile of Krishna. Remember when we spoke about Queen Kunti, finally, when she had already glorified Krishna and told Krishna, please don't go, you go and we will be unprotected. You go away whenever I have any problem, you know, what do I do? Right? And what did Krishna do? He just smiled at her. He smiled at her, but that smile gave so much of satisfaction to her heart. Right? So some amazing devotee came up with a beautiful acronym of what does smile of Krishna mean. S means what, M means what, etc. Okay, so now we will go into this. So just like this, the smile of Krishna is so beautiful. Similarly, the eyebrows of Krishna are also beautiful. One is this direction, one is that direction. And Bhagavatam explains that the eyebrows of Krishna are just like the arrow and the bow. Right? You know Cupid, right? Cupid. So basically, when the arrow of Cupid hits us, our heart, we get into, you know, love, lust, etc. But when this bow and arrow of Krishna hits our heart because of our purity, because of our clear intention, because of our being able to control our mind, then that hitting of that arrow of Krishna basically transforms this into love. Okay, so the smile and the eyebrows, that's really very, very important. So Bhagavatam also explains, in fact, Bhagavatam explains in Canto number 3 itself, Kapila Muni, I think, explains that, you know, when you see the form of Krishna, when we go in front of Krishna, and I want all of you all to do this, you know, sadly, when we come to the temple, we are most of the times not in a personal devotional mood, right? Okay, the Lord is there, but it should go beyond this. I'm seeing the beauty of the Lord. I'm actually seeing the Lord from his lotus feet all the way to the face. The Lord is non-different from the deity, because 55 years ago, the Panditjis at that time, the Acharyas at that time, they had invited the Lord to come and manifest his energy in the deity. You know, can you imagine 55 years? Every day there's a morning Mangal Arati, there's an evening Shana Arati, there's a midday Arati, right? How much of Bhagavad Katha the deities have been listening to their own glorification. Over 55 years, can you imagine the potency of the Lord, the potency of the deity? That is how powerful the Lord is. But what do? We don't actually go in. Prabhuji, your friend is here. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, your friend is here. Okay. So we don't go in and, you know, see the Lord as, yeah, he's a person. He's there waiting for me. Okay. So, right. So this is you know, the two important characteristics which I explained in the Bhagavatam, the smile of the Lord and the eyebrows of the Lord. And Rupa Goswami explains that, you know, if you like your material possessions, if you love your family, right, please don't go to Vrindavan, please don't go to Keshi Ghat, because the moment you see that small little bluish black boy with curly hair, the moment you see him, you will just lose that desire for that material things. Rupa Goswami says, right? You will become so detached, you will just say that, yes, right? My family members, my possessions, they are all there for me to use in the service of Krishna, but I'm not attached to them. So Rupa Goswami says, you know, just be careful. If you go to Keshi Ghat, right? That small little boy might look into your eyes and you will just lose taste for all the material. Later on, we will play some videos where you will actually see this. Okay, so right, now let's look at the smile of Krishna. What does the smile of Krishna mean? Guys, just bear with me. Okay. How is it looking, Prabhu? But I don't want that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'll take it away. Thank you. Okay, so Krishna's smile. Queen Kunti says, right? Once Krishna is leaving, she stops him. She recites the, Queen Kunti's prayers, and finally Krishna just smiles at her. And that smile was so satisfying. Why? Because Krishna's smile embodies the spiritual contentment, illustrating that true satisfaction cannot be found in material pursuits. Whatever material, yeah, what's the Hindi or Sanskrit word for material? Bautik sansar, right? Whatever bautik material will not satisfy us. We will get it, it will go away from us. We will get it, but the satisfaction is not enough. We need more and more satisfaction. We get it, but the satisfaction is there, it just dies off. But Bhagavatam explains that Krishna's smile is so satisfying. The Bhagavad Gita emphasizes the satisfaction of the mind as a virtue in the mode of goodness, highlighting the fleeting nature of worldly pleasures. So when we turn to Krishna in devotion, in bhakti, it immediately brings satisfaction. You are able to tell your mind, a mind, right? The material possessions, the material world is not able to give me that kind of satisfaction as much as what Krishna's smile, the Supreme Person, the service of that Supreme Person can actually give us. So turning towards Krishna in devotion brings immediate satisfaction. Prabhupada explains, the exceptional beauty of the laughter of Lord Vishnu is that when he smiles, his small teeth, which resemble the buds of jasmine flower, at once becomes reddish, reflecting his rosy lips. If the yogi is able to place the beautiful face of the Lord in the core of his heart, where the Lord is already present as Paramatma, he will completely be satisfied. Next. The smile of the Lord is also mystical, right? And very affectionate. Krishna's smile reflects his mystical potency and boundless affection for his devotees. Just look at the power of Krishna, right? Everything runs so smoothly. You do not see planets. Do you see planets colliding into each other? Look at our own body. This wire, it just gets entangled. But all the capillaries in our system, our veins, our arteries, do you see themselves getting clogged? Right? The anatomy of a cell, it's so complicated, it's like the setup of a city. In one cell, Krishna has put in that much of complexity. How mystical the Lord is, right? So his response to Queen Kunti's prayers demonstrate his enchanting quality of his smile, which is captivating as his mystic powers. Bhagavatam 2:131 says, the most alluring, illusory, material energy is said to be the smile of the Lord's universal. So if we look at the Virat Rupa, right? The smile of the Virat Rupa is actually the Maya, which is emanating from his body. Right? Why is he smiling? Because we wanted to enjoy independently from the Lord. So as Maya, he has constructed this material world for us to enjoy as much as we want. And finally, until that moment where we tell ourselves that, oh, this is enough now. You know, when can I go back into the spiritual world and not come back into this material world again and again and again? Right? So the most alluring, illusory material energy of Maya is the smile of the Lord's universal form. So mystical, isn't it? In the spiritual world, Krishna's smile is the most attractive spiritual energy. But when pervertedly reflected in the world, it takes the form of Maya, which keeps living entities who are trying to lord over material nature in delusion and binds them with the shackles of lust. So while the smile of the Lord is very, 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 provides us with so much of satisfaction, at the same time, the Lord's smile is very, very mystical. Okay? It's Maya. And it's also very, very infectious. Why is it that, day in, day out for years, devotees can just wake up at 3 o'clock, go for Mangala Arati? Because it's so infectious. So infectious. It's worse than COVID. Yeah. Right? Someone who has that infection can give it to others so easily. Just like how a sadhu who has that infection of the Lord's smile can actually give it to all of us. So infectious, Krishna's smile has an infectious quality, but this infection is not making us sick, but it's spreading joy and hope, even in the face of adversity. Right? Even when we go through so much of difficulties, the smile of Krishna will tell us that it's okay. Something good is going to come out of this. I don't understand it today, but let me just continue to be grateful to the Lord, because in time to come, I will realize that, wow, there was a bigger orchestration in the background which was beyond my understanding. Right? So the scripture describes how the smile of Krishna has the power to dispel oceans of tears caused by intense grief. All right, Bhagavatam, Kapila Muni says, Hasam Harer Avananti Tak Hila Loka Tivra. Shok is, difficulties, whatever lamentations which we have. Asru, our eyes, our tears, sorry. Sok Asru Sagara, the ocean. So just by seeing the form of the Lord, the smile of the Lord, all this material shok, all right, with the tears coming out, oceans of tears for lifetimes after lifetimes, they will become vanished. Right? A yogi should meditate on the most benevolent smile of Krishna, a smile which for all those who bow to him dries up the ocean of tears caused by intense grief. So it's very, very infectious, and whatever problems which we have, right, they will just become, like we want to cross over an ocean of difficulties. It just becomes like the hoof, the water placed, in the hoof print of a calf. Okay? Continuing, in times of difficulty and despair, contemplating Krishna's benevolent smile offers solace and redemption, serving as a source of inspiration. Can you imagine, for example, Prabhupada, what difficulties he went through, right? All this, his Prabhupada's books, scriptures were just sold off by his wife because she wanted to buy tea. There was not enough money for tea. She sold off his scriptures. And that was the breaking point for Prabhupada, where he says, I just need to take sannyas, right? When he went to Vrindavan, there was so much of difficulty he faced. When he went to When he was on that ship, right, going to Boston Harbor, he had 2 heart attacks. When he reached Boston, a few weeks later, it was snowing, and when he woke up, he saw, what is this white, complete white? He had not seen snow. He was all alone for 1 year, until the day he went right below, just under the tree in Tompkins Square, and started doing kirtan there. And slowly, right, the hippies started coming to him. How much of difficulties he went through, but he was able, to just go through all of this because of the smile of Krishna. It was so infectious, and also because of the instructions from his spiritual master. Right? So the example of Arjuna on the battlefield illustrates how Krishna's smile reassures and uplifts. Arjuna is saying, I will not fight. I've got my grandparents, my grandfather, my guru, my brothers, all of my cousin brothers, all of them on the other side. How can I even kill them? I'd rather be killed. Then what does Krishna do? Krishna just smiles, right? And tells him, wait, right? You have poured out all your grief. Now I will share with you what the actual philosophy is going to be. So demonstrating his compassionate nature and unwavering support for his devotees. Right? And the Lord's prelude to his counsel, he smiles to show his compassion and to show that no problem is too big for the Lord to solve. We saw so much in the case of Mahabharata, right? Where Bhishma Dev gave those 5 arrows to Duryodhana because the next day he was supposed to kill the Pandavas. And how Krishna orchestrated such that Arjuna could get those arrows. Right? So there, you'll just see how Krishna just kept on protecting them, right? Because they knew there was no problem too big for the Lord to solve. So we spoke about how the smile of the Lord gives satisfaction, how it's so mystical, right? It's the Maya which is emanating from his smile. Okay, for the devotee, it's enchanting, but for the materialist, it can bind us to this world again and again and again. And finally, it's infectious. And the Lord also produces, this lasting reciprocation. Okay, so Krishna's smile symbolizes an eternal bond of love and reciprocity with his devotees. When we go to the temple, when we ask the Lord for something, the Lord will, provide us based on our karma or based on what he thinks is right for us. But when a devotee who goes to the Lord without any motivation and uninterruptedly always worshipping the Lord, then the Lord becomes confused, Main kya isko do? He's not asking for anything. Ajit Prabhu, can you imagine? Your children come to you every time, Papa, I want 10 cents, 20 cents for my bus fare. Of course, they are doctors and specialists. They will not ask 10 cents. But, when they were young, they keep on asking for you something. And then one fine day, they just come and say, no, Papa, I just want to be with you. What will you do? You will cry, right? Similarly, the Lord is confused. What do I do? And therefore he says, you take me. You take me. That is the reciprocation of Krishna's love. Right? So does it mean that we don't ask the Lord for anything? No, ask the Lord whatever we want. Keep on asking. But in the process of asking, we will become purified, We'll become purified, and then we'll ask, what am I asking? These broken pieces of glasses? When Krishna can actually give me the jewels. Krishna himself is the most priceless jewel, right? So like this, the Lord becomes so confused for the pure devotees. He just gives himself to them. So the reciprocal exchange of love and devotion between Krishna and his devotees forms the basis of that eternal relationship. So coming back to Ram Sanehi Prabhu's point about that connection, this is the meaning of the connection. Right? Yoga means what? To reconnect back to the Lord, to reconnect our forgotten relationship with the Lord. What is religion? Religion comes from the word religare. Religare means what? To reconnect once again. Right? This is the meaning of reconnect. It's okay to ask the Lord, but it should also reach a certain stage where we are just spontaneously, I don't want anything, I just want to serve you. Okay? And finally, SMILE, L stands for the lasting reciprocation, and E stands for enchanting. Described as supremely attractive and captivating, the Lord's smile transcends, the mundane beauty and captivates the hearts of devotees as well as non-devotees alike. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya tells Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Krishna's body is a city of attractive features, and it is sweeter than sweet. His face, which is like the moon, is sweeter still, and the supremely sweet, gentle smile on that moon-like face is like the rays of moonshine, which gives you so much of bliss. Krishna is also called Mukunda, right? Mu, the face, right? So Mukunda means whose face is as beautiful as the ever-smiling Kunda flower. Mukunda. Krishna is also called Manohar. Man is the mind. Hara means to steal, right? Manohar. So my Guru Maharaj was telling us that once he was distributing Bhagavad Gita in Paris, and there was this Muslim boy around 20 years old came to him and said, "This is Krishna, right?" My Guru Maharaj says, "Yes, this is Krishna." He said, I cannot get him out of my mind. I went to India and I went to this temple, and since that day he has captivated my mind. So my Guru Maharaj asked him, "Which temple did you go to?" He said, "Oh, it's in Jaipur. You wouldn't know, Swamiji." Maharaj said, "No, you tell me where, which temple you went to." "I went to Jaipur, near the city palace, there's this Govindji Mandir." Right? And when I saw the deity, when I saw how the devotees were in reciprocation for the love of the Lord, it just captivated my heart, and until today, I cannot forget that scene. Then my Guru Maharaj told him, there is Govindji. Govindji, the deity of Govindji is actually 5,000 years old. Right? How many of you have been to Govindji? Oh, you all should go. It's so beautiful. All right? I wanted to stop here to have that discussion, but now we can continue. So this is the deity of Govindji. Right? So 5,000 years ago, the grandson, Vajranab, great-grandson, I think, but Vajranab, he wanted to, basically start the worship of Krishna in Vrindavan. And therefore, his Guru Maharaj told him that you have the deities of Krishna carved out. So Vajranab commissioned the spiritual architect Vishwakarma to start, crafting out the deities. But at that point in time, no one had seen Krishna except who? Uttara. Uttara was still here. Everyone else had gone back to the spiritual world except for Parikshit Maharaj's mother. So she says, this is how Krishna looks like, etc. So the first deity was then carved out. Okay? The first deity was carved out, and they brought the deity in front of Uttara. And Uttara says, yes, the deity looks exactly like Krishna, but from the waist down until the lotus feet. Okay? They installed the deity as Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan. Okay? So let me show you how Madan Mohan looks like. This is Madan Mohan. Okay? This deity was smuggled away from Vrindavan during Aurangzeb's time, was brought to Karoli, okay, because he was all out to break all the temples. So Madan Mohan temple is still there in Vrindavan. Okay, beautiful temple. Mataji, Satya Mataji, right? There was a lot of difficulty for her to walk up that 100 over steps, but she says, no, I will walk. Remember? Right? So she walked from the bottom all the way up that small little hill, 100 over steps, and then we went for darshan. So, of course, we do not have the original deities, right? And the temple, they cannot worship in the temple anymore, right? Because they did a lot of cow slaughter, etc., in the temple, Aurangzeb and his people. So they built another temple next to it, but still not the original deities. Original deities are in Karoli. Okay, let's have a darshan of the deity. Anyway, you will not be able to hear this. Am I sharing screen, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, anyway, I will send this to you, then you all can see later. Huh? So this is the deity, right, of Radha Madan Mohanji. Looks exactly like Krishna from the waist downwards until the lotus feet, okay? So you can see the arati going on over here. This is in Karoli in Rajasthan. And then we move to the second deity, which was sculptured by Vishwakarma under the instructions of Vajranav. And when Uttara saw, she says, wow, this deity looks exactly like Krishna from waist till the neck. Okay, so this is Radha Gopinath. Just see how the devotees are dancing. Okay, I'll send you all the link. It's very nice. Okay, then the third deity was sculptured. The third deity, when Uttara saw, she said, yes, this is exactly the enchanting face of Krishna, the smile of Krishna. And this was called Radha Govindji. Okay, so this is in Jaipur. It's right adjacent to the city palace. And when the king, Man Singh or Jai Singh, when he wakes up in the morning, he opens his curtains, he has the first darshan of the Lord first. Okay, beautiful deity. And just look at this 90-year-old Mataji, how she's enchanted by this. Every day she's dancing in front of Krishna. She's telling Krishna, you come and play the kites with me. Okay? So this is the barb. The song is Ao Govind Pyara Ao Ji. Okay? So these are the three deities, and legend has it that, okay. So let's now talk about Radha Govindji. The deity looks exactly like Krishna's face. Okay. So installed in Jaipur right now. So 5,000 years ago, Vajranab commissioned the sculpting of the deity. But the deity was lost in time. Rupa Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, he was asked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you please go and unearth all the pastimes of all the sthalis, all the dhams where Krishna enacted the pastimes with Radharani. You go, I'm empowering you. So just by the vision, right, just by the mercy, Rupa Goswami was actually able to revive all of these places. At one time, he was just seated next to Govardhan Hill, around the Parikrama mark of Govardhan, and he started shouting, Govind, 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 where are you? Govind, where are you? One small little boy with curly locks came and told him, you know what? There is a cow. There is a cow which just goes all the way up to the Govardhan. She lets go of her milk and then she goes off. Every day she does that. I suspect your Govind must be hidden there. The small little boy told Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami went up. He actually saw, yes, the cow was coming and milking the deity. You can see the next picture over there. Every day she was coming and milking the deity. And then Rupa Goswami got this vision that Krishna is saying, it's so hot over here. Please save me. Take me out of this. Take me out of this place. And Rupa Goswami then commissioned the unearthing of this deity from this site in Govardhan. Okay? So this is the deity which is now in Jaipur, 5,000 years old. Amazing. So this boy Abdul, who spoke to my Guru Maharaj, he says that I went to Jaipur and until today I'm enchanted by the smile of Krishna. So legend has it that, if you want to have the full darshan of Krishna, go to Jaipur. In one day, you start by going to Madan Mohan Temple in Karoli. Then you come to Gopinath Mandir in Jaipur. And then you go to Govindji. So you see from the lotus feet, up the waist, up the neck, up the face. Okay. So today we covered this. Let's have a short break and have some prasadam. Hare Krishna. For those of you who are online, just enjoy some prasadam. Sorry, I have not gone into Bhagavatam yet. I got a bit carried away with that sorry telling, but I think it's okay.
Hare Krishna, Babuji.
Okay, we have a big crowd here today. Big group. Thank you very much. Gayatri Mataji, Sapana Mataji, Sharda Mataji, Reed, Ravindra Prabhu, Manoj Prabhu, my childhood friend, Sonia Mataji, Dorothy, Lalita Mataji, Pooja, nice to see you after a long, long, long time. Venkat Raman from Chennai, Vanti Prabhu, Shanta Mataji, wow, so nice to see you after a long time. Shamugam Prabhu, Rohit, Gopi, how are you, Gopi? Madhuri Mataji, Hare Krishna, and Malti. Okay, so we'll just have a 10-minute prasadam break over here. You can have your bio break and we'll be back shortly. Hare Krishna. Okay, so welcome back. I do not have any slides over here, but I just, I want you to just ask ourselves, let's just retrospect, right? Reflect on this few points right now. Okay. So the first half of today's class, we spoke about the smile of Krishna. We also spoke about the eyebrow of Krishna, which, which is acting just like the opposite of Cupid, right? It can shoot the arrows of love in our heart. We spoke about how devotees receive the reciprocation from the Lord when they approach the Lord with full service, without any motivation, right? And then the Lord becomes confused. What do I do for them? We spoke about this. Then we spoke about the smile of Krishna. It's so captivating. It is so satisfying to our hearts. It's so mystical, right? From the Virat Roop, or the universal form of the Lord, the smile of that Lord is like the Maya, which can keep on, clouding our intelligence if we do not have a clear intention of wanting to come out of this Maya Jal. Okay? So all of this we have learned in the first 1 hour. Now let's ask ourselves, Krishna and Vamsivat, he's with his flute, so beautiful, right? So beautiful. The face of the Lord is like that blue lotus, right? Bhishma Dev, right? When he was lying on the bed of arrows, he told Krishna that, he told Arjuna that you have not seen that Krishna who was fighting against me. This same Krishna was like running, towards me with that wheel, wanting to kill me. The beads of perspiration on his bluish face was like the dew on the blue lotus. So beautiful this Krishna is. His curly blackish hair, right, were dusted by the sand, by that, that's dust from the hoofs of that running horses. You have not seen all of this, oh Arjuna. I saw, because he was in front of me. So like this, we also saw how Sukadev Goswami is explaining in these 4 verses how captivating the Lord is, and how, because the yogis have no desire, they are able to control their minds, and therefore they can reach the super soul. We gave some examples of how Prabhupada was taking inspiration from this also, telling the reporters that, Krishna tells me. So now we will look at, while we look at all these amazing devotees of the Lord, why is it that we do not have this? Why is that bhav not in us? In the last 2 classes, we did go a little into this, but today let's just write this down in a piece of paper on our mobile phones, and let's look at 5 different points why we cannot have that taste. Why do not we have that attraction for Krishna? First and foremost is Maya. Okay, Maya is coming from Krishna. Because we do not have a clear intention in wanting to surrender, Maya is like a cloud, right, enveloping us. Most of the time, we are in the mode of ignorance and passion. Until we can come to Sattva Guna or Shuddha Sattva, Maya will keep on attacking us. Okay, so the first thing is Maya simply means that which is not. Okay? That which is not. So Maya means you begin to see everything in the opposite way. Okay? Maya means that which has no substance, because Maya is basically getting us into more and more material inclination, right? So that which has no substance and we are attracted to it. That which has no substance and it doesn't move our heart. It doesn't move our heart and make us mold ourselves to have that intention. So once again, Maya is nothing but just the cloud of energy, right? Which is covering us, putting us in that mode of passion and ignorance. In our Bhagavad Gita class, we have learned this, right? The external surrounding will affect us. If we are in a dirty house, in a messy place, that energy is the mode of ignorance. It will affect us and we will start thinking like a lazy person, etc. If we are in a pub, if we are in the stock exchange, right? If we are in all of these competitive arenas, then the energy which is pervading is the mode of passion, and we will become very passionate also, right? But if we keep on going to the mandir, we are in a park, right? Then that sattva guna energy or the shuddh sattva guna energy will affect us, and we will orchestrate our lives in a shuddh sattva way. Okay? So these habits, these habits will become our lifestyle and it will become the dominating culture in which we live. So that's the first point, Maya. Anyone likes to, maybe expand a little bit on this? Anush Prabhu? No, not yet. Yeah. So under this Maya, anything else? Yes, Mataji. Well, what does Krishna say about our occupation? That's our dharma. We have to do it to the best of our ability. We cannot be lazy about it. Okay? At the same time, what did we learn in our Bhagavad Gita classes? We need to have our Sanatan Dharma and our Swa Dharma. We need to be having a good balance in this. Mataji, actually, it's very simple to become so much into our work that we forget everything else. If we do not have that clear intention of crafting out a little bit of time, we will just get lost in this rat race. Right? It's okay, Yeah, instead of getting 100 upon 100, if we get 90 upon 100 in our material, and we still can progress in that 10% in the spiritual, that will actually bring us in a different paradigm altogether. So we need to craft that out. Conscious effort, yeah, with that clear intention. So that's the first one. The second one is, coming back to Shalini Mataji's point, distraction. Right? Distraction. That is so powerful. Previously, which was the most distracted organism? Goldfish. Okay. Now it's human. Every 8 seconds, our mind wants to do something else. That's what research is showing. Those days, 1960s, 70s, the goldfish was actually seen as the most distracted. Every 80 seconds or something, the guy wants to do something else. The monkey are less distracted than the goldfish. But now every 8 seconds, we need to do something. The mind will tell you, oh, ye karo, ye karo, ye karo. If you fall prey to the mind, you are gone. Okay? So distraction. So a very important point to remember, which we have been discussing many times today. as what Prabhuji said, Ram Sanhi Prabhu said, intention. That intention has to come. From that intention, we will have that attention. Wherever attention goes, what happens? Energy flows. If energy flows, we invest our energy correctly, then it gets into the mode of perfection. So it all starts with telling myself, I want to do this. Maya will say, never mind, not tomorrow you can do lah. Why today? It's okay, 15 more minutes, later. Fir dekhi jayegi. Kal yog, no, kal dekhe jayega. All right? So, the intention can be there, but the heart is weak. The heart is weak maybe because we are in the mode of passion, in the mode of ignorance. The heart is weak because we're not in the right association. The heart is also weak because the activities which we are engaging in makes us weaker and weaker. So intention as alone is not enough. Intention, you need to add a few other things inside. You know, the Indian housewife loves to photocopy recipes. I'll always disturb my wife. She's not here today. She's in KL. She's also not watching. So she has a habit of, just collecting recipes. And my daughters and I will say, yeah, she'll keep on collecting recipe, but the recipe will never come into materialization. So intention is there. I photocopy the recipe. But whether she will cook something out of that recipe, that's a different thing. Okay? So intention is good, but we need to put a lot of attention to it. Right? So that's the second point. Yes, preoccupied, yes, Mataji, but at the same time, Hare Krishna. Preoccupied, yes. But if we don't carve out, then we will just fall into this, Mataji. Right? It's very simple, frankly. If I want my Saturday and Sunday, I can just relax and sleep. If you guys want, you will never even come for the class. But why do you come for the class? It's because you have that clear intention. Simple. Okay? So Krishna explains in chapter number 2, very nicely, If we do not have that clear intention, if our mind allows us to do what we are doing, then this is what will happen. Right? We will get attracted to the material. We get attracted to the material. Lust will develop. Okay? That one, I want this, I want this. Once that lust develops, then if I get it, I will realize that, wow, it is not providing me that satisfaction. Within a few days, I will get over it. You can buy a Rolls Royce, you can buy a Mercedes, etc. Within a few days, you will realize that I want something more. Because that's how the mind works, right? So the mind will tell you, yeah, let's go for this. And then our mind will become mad with that lust of wanting to own it. If we don't get it, what's going to happen? We will become angry, Right? I told you on my example, I saw a beautiful house in Potong Pasir. Right? I wanted to buy it. Everything was okay. The family was telling me, maybe you're paying a bit more. Negotiate. Finally, the guy gave that house away for $5,000 more. Beautiful house. And I got into a depression because I love that property so much. I was like, no, I want to buy this. This is how I'm going to decorate it, blah, 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 blah. I actually got into a depression because I lost that house just for $5,000. Today, their property is worth, I think, $7 million. Right? It got me into this. I even stopped talking to my family. I started blaming them because you guys told me you should negotiate further. I was willing to pay that price. So you see, that hankering got me into that lust. I want it, I want it. I didn't get it, I got angry. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, nice process to explain. This is a unique philosophy. Once I get angry, I become mad, right? And I lose my discrimination. And therefore, for a while, I was not even talking to anybody. I was so upset in my heart. Very easy, right? Krishna explains, So Krishna is saying that these are all distractions. It's okay to have it, but please note that there is a higher power which decides whether we are going to get it or not. Remember, Shalini, we are just 1/3 that equation. I desire, then Paramatma in my heart will sanction yes or no, this person will get based on my karma. And finally, Mother Nature, under the jurisdiction of Goddess Durga, will execute it. Yes, Krishan Bhagwan, Krishan Prabhu. Yes. Prabhu, I can't hear you clearly, Prabhu. You have to speak louder. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It was. Yeah. You attract to one can mean that you are distracted from what you should be doing. Right? I'm attracted to this beautiful woman. It distracts me from probably doing something else. I'm attracted so much into my work, right? It distracts me from my other responsibilities. That's how I'm looking at it. Okay, so this is explained very nicely in Bhagavad Gita. This is the ultimate philosophy. When we get attached to something, right, we are hijacked by lust. It produces frustration, anger. We lose our discrimination and we lose our memory and we fall back into this material world. Okay, but when we are in love with Krishna, then it completely satisfies us, right? Why? Because Krishna is spiritual. Krishna is in our heart. And therefore, since Krishna is in our heart, it satisfies our heart too. Then you become fully aware, and that is the clear consciousness. Okay? So, the first reason was Maya. Why we do not have that intense love for Krishna? Maya. And secondly, distraction. Okay? Third one is we are not listening enough to Harikatha. We do not know enough about who Krishna is. Rukmani. Rukmani did not even see Krishna, but she had an intense desire. Every time in the palace, someone will be coming and glorifying Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Her heart just grows so much of fond for Krishna. And she wrote the first love letter. The first love letter, she sent it through a messenger, reached Krishna, and Krishna then came and rescued her. All right. So that was how, just by the process of hearing. Okay. We need to hear from, like last time, the devotee who came, the Maharaj who came over, the Acharya who came, Brahmbhag Maharaj, they are all pure devotees. They have seen the Lord. Even without physical vision, they have perceived the Lord. I just look at the amazing work which he has done, to rediscover Ayodhya. Right? So we need association of such sadhus. Right? We need to hear from them. They have seen the truth and therefore they can give the truth to us. Okay? Otherwise, just seeing the deity of Krishna is just like an eye massage. Because we have not purified our heart enough. No? Okay? So the first reason is Maya. The second reason is because we are distracted into doing so many other things. And third one is we're not listening enough about the glories of Krishna. Just take out Krishna book, right? Canto number 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Just read one chapter every day. You will get to understand how great Krishna is. And the fourth point is we lack that reciprocation. Coming back to the earlier point, when we approach the Lord, we ask for something always, which is okay, right? As I said earlier on, asking is fine. Just keep on asking, because along the process of worshipping Hari, Mukunda, Manohar, we are purifying ourselves until it reaches a certain stage. We will say that, no, I just want to worship you, O Krishna. I don't have any desire. I just want to worship this small little boy. Right? And then when we reach that stage and Krishna becomes confused, what do I give this person? He's not even asking anything. And that confused Krishna will just say, I just give myself to this person. That is where the reciprocation happens. Okay? So we are lacking that reciprocation because we haven't reached that purity yet. Okay? So many a times, devotees, when you go to Vrindavan, they will ask, which is the most beautiful darshan I can have? Which is the most beautiful darshan? Is it Banke Bihari? Is it Radha Madan Mohan? Is it Radha Sham Sundar, etc.? What is the right answer? All. Exactly. But more importantly, it is the deity where you are having reciprocative service with. Right? Sunil Prabhu, no? So Sunil Prabhu's father, all right, he's a Brijavasi. He left his body in Vrindavan. You know what was his work? He just served the Dham. Every day he was reading the Bhagavatam and he was writing purports on the Srimad Bhagavatam. Nothing else. His children were working in Singapore, running their own business, etc. Father was totally detached from all of this. He was just in the service of Krishna. So what's the legacy he left behind? He left behind that huge amount of purports on the Bhagavatam, his personal realization. What else is glorious in life, you tell me? Is it having numerous bungalows? Is it having huge designations? Or is it engaging your mind, your soul, and your body in the service of Krishna, such that it provided you that satisfaction, but at the same time, it is the best insurance policy which brings us to the next life also. Leaving your body in Vrindavan, it's like, unbelievable. You will not have to come back into this material world. Okay, so the most beautiful deities are those whom we have served with our hearts, right? And they are the most beautiful, because when you serve with your heart without any motivation, right, without any wanting anything in return, then Krishna will reveal his beauty to you. Okay? So the right answer was exactly what you said. All the deities are beautiful, but the one whom you serve without any motivation, the Lord will reveal to you, will reciprocate to you. So we can't see Krishna's beauty unless we engage our heart in it. Okay, so, and the fifth point is because we do not have enough trust, enough faith, enough trust in Krishna. Sunil's father, he had that trust, right? He had that trust. He didn't even stop there. He told his friends in Singapore, why don't you all also come and stay in Vrindavan? He orchestrated that they will also come and stay in Vrindavan. He helped them to actually buy, places in Vrindavan where they can then come and stay there. All right, so this is, right, when we are able to somehow ensure that Maya does not distract us. Point number 2, we are not distracted. Point number 3, we are listening sufficiently, enough. And point number 4, we have that reciprocation from the Lord. And number 5, if we have that trust that it's okay, I just need to express my gratitude. Anything good happens, I express my gratitude. Anything bad happens, I still express my gratitude because I do not know what is the orchestration going on at the back. Then we will reach a certain chasm point where we will have that spontaneous love for Krishna. Okay. Any questions? Okay, now we go into Bhagavatam. Okay, let me share my screen now. So there was continuing from last week's class, but I just wanted to, Hare Krishna, I just wanted to go deeper. So by the way, this temple over here, which you see, right? This is Govindji Mandir. It was 7 stories high in Vrindavan, right? At the top of this Govindji temple, there was a huge diya. And the diya was sufficient to light up the whole of Vrindavan, and Aurangzeb sitting in Agra could actually see the brightness. He said, how can this be? The next day on Govardhan Puja, he brought his army and they razed the temple. They just demolished the temple. The top 4 stories were all damaged. Right? They knew, the Pandits knew that this was happening. And Raja Man Singh or Jai Singh from Jaipur came and they smuggled the deities out just in time. So these deities are 500 years, 5,000 years old. Discovered 500 years ago where? Govardhan. Right? The cow, yes. Okay. So now we will go into the balance of Canto number 2. Yes. Sure. Yes. Oh, sure, sure. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you very much for the prasad. Yeah. Thank you. Really nice. Okay. Anush Prabhu, just see if I'm sharing the slides. Okay, so we'll move on. Now we are in Canto number 2, the last parts of Canto number 2. So once again, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, which we will reference back in Bhagavatam, a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities. So this person is conscious of Krishna, thinking of Krishna, at the same time acknowledging that he is the cause of all causes. And acknowledging that the Lord of all planets and of all the devatas, and the Lord is the benefactor and worshipper of all living things. This person will live in peace from the pangs of material miseries. Okay, another important qualification. If we want peace, the peace formula is just be conscious of the Lord. Know that the Lord is orchestrating everything. Okay. So then remember last week we spoke about how, Hare Krishna, wow, so long I didn't see you. Nice. Welcome back to Singapore. Today we spoke about your homeland, Jaipur. We spoke about Radha Govindji. Okay. So remember Lord Vishnu, right? What did Lord Vishnu say? He shook hands with Brahmaji. He said, now you please move on. Okay. I wish you good luck, O Brahma. You may ask from me, the giver of all benedictions, all that you may want. You may know that the ultimate benediction as a result of all penance is to see me by realization. Okay. The biggest tapasya, the result of all the tapasya is to actually have face-to-face audience with the Lord. Okay? And Lord Vishnu says, because you were submissive in your sadhana, when I said tapa, tapa, you immediately went and you got into meditation. Because you were submissive in your sadhana, I am therefore reciprocating. Okay? Because of your submissive attitude in the performance of severe penance according to my order. Right? So Krishna says over here, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer homage to me. Thus you will come to me without fail. And I promise you this, because you are my dear friend. From Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna, Sita Mataji. Hare Krishna, Darshana Mataji. Then, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I will deliver you from all sins. This is exactly what Brahmaji is doing. Just surrender. Krishna says, tapa, tapa. Okay, I just do tapa. All right. O sinless Brahma, you may know from me that it was I who first ordered you to undergo penance. Right? Meditation, devotional service. When you were perplexed in your duty, such penance is my heart and soul. And therefore, penance and I are non-different. So, waking up in the morning for Mangala Arati, doing your sadhana, chanting our rounds, worshipping Tulsi Maharani, watering Tulsi Maharani, cooking for the Lord. All of this may look like, wow, difficult work, but this is penance. This is our sadhana for the Lord. He's giving us everything. Even air He's giving us. Everything He's giving us. The living entities are engaged in the conditions of material bondage because of their overlordship. They want to just enjoy. But by engagement in devotional service, one becomes detached from this enjoying spirit. Therefore, only love and sadhana combined can please the Lord, okay, to attain His mercy. So now Brahmaji is saying, please bestow your mercy so that I may carry out the instruction without any laziness and pride. Okay? Pride, why? Because when you do something, when you see the results are all coming out, then what do we say? It's my work. So Brahmaji is explaining to us, I am just a secondary creator. Everything is given by Krishna. I am just putting this together. So whatever successes we have, it's all because of the Lord. Okay? Brahmaji is telling us, give me your mercy, your grace, so that I can do this to the best of your satisfaction. And along the way, I do not become proud. Therefore, everyone should know in clear consciousness that one is, in the execution of all devotees, just an instrument, nimetrama. All right? A conditioned soul is instrumental in the hands of the external energy, or gunamayi maya, as the illusory energy of the Lord. We are all under the jurisdiction of Goddess Durga. Okay? Oh my Lord! Ajit. Ajit is those cannot be conquered. Is it? Ajit means cannot be conquered. Aja means unborn. Yeah. So, oh my Lord, Aja, you have shaken hands with me as a friend does with a friend, as if equal in position. But I am nobody. I shall be engaged in the creation of different types of living entities, and I shall be occupied in your service. I shall have no perturbation, but I pray that all these may not give rise to pride, as if I were the supreme. Okay. Factually, Lord Brahma does not create the living entities. In the beginning of the creation, He's just empowered to give different bodily shapes to the souls which are already there. So what is Brahmaji's duty? It is just to wake the living entities from their sleep and to engage them in their proper duty, entrusted with the task of giving the living entities different grades of body, from cockroach to insects to ants, etc., all the way to humans. If we as humans cannot have that discerning understanding that we are here to have that understanding of what our goal is, then it's a waste of our human life. So what's the secret recipe? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended 5 principles for attaining the devotional service of the Lord. First is association with devotees, hearing from them. Second is chanting the glories of the Lord, reading about this, chanting your Mahamantra, etc. Third is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Fourth is like Sunil Prabhu's father, residing in a holy place connected with the Lord. Example, Vrindavan or Mathura. But is it really necessary? Vrindavan can be a state of the mind. Wherever Vrinda Devi is, Tulsi Maharani is, that place becomes Vrindavan also. Okay? Your mind can also become Vrindavan. No use going to Vrindavan and being there when we are engaging in all Prajalpa. And fifth, worshipping the deity of the Lord with devotion. So all of me, namely my actual external form, Maya, and my transcendental existence, my color, qualities, activities, let all be awakened within you by your realization. And that is a proof that the Lord is beyond that formless form. Right? In many sampradayas, in many other religions, they believe the Lord is just the energy. There's no person Lord. But over here in Bhagavatam, Krishna is saying, my color, my transcendental existence, my qualities, my activities, these are all proof. And Sukadev Goswami gave that 4 verses explaining the beauty of the Lord. So the Lord is a person. Yes, there is energy emanating from the Lord, the Brahman Jyoti. At the same time, the Lord can also be realized as Paramatma in our hearts. One can know the supreme truth if and only if one has unflinching faith in the bona fide Guru as well as in the Lord. Such a faithful person, even though illiterate in the mundane sense, can know the Lord automatically by the mercy of the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once went to Udupi and he saw an illiterate Brahmana. Illiterate, he could not read, etc. And he was always at the corner. No one even bothered about him. But he was always crying when he picked up the Bhagavad Gita. He will read letter, he doesn't know this way, up way, etc. But he will cry whenever he sees the picture of Krishna and Arjuna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was walking by and he said, wow, this guy is in bhava crying. And he asked him, he said, no, I cannot read the Bhagavad Gita. But every time I see the cover of the Bhagavad Gita, I see Krishna, the supreme person, has become the chariot driver of his friend. He's being kicked around to go left, right on the battlefield by the feet of Arjuna. I just think, wow, just see what the Lord can do for his devotee. And that brings tears to my eye. And what did Mahaprabhu says? You are greater than all the literate Brahmanas who understand the scriptures because you have understood the essence of what scripture is, which is the loving exchange in reciprocation between a devotee and the Lord. So then there are 4 Chaturshloki slokas of the Bhagavatam. In the interest of time, can you all assure me that you all will go through the notes tonight? Okay? Krishna is explaining about creation. So the 4 important verses from Bhagavatam. Mataji, you want to take a picture? You can if you want. Yeah. And then the second verse, the third verse, and the 4th verse. Okay. So these are the 4 important verses or the Chaturshloki verses. And from these 4 verses, the entire Bhagavatam was expanded. Actually, it's injustice for me not to read this. You should read it. These are 4 main important verses. Okay? Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before creation, when there was nothing but myself. Nor was there the material nature, the cause of the creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after the annihilation, what remains will also be I. Krishna says, I was there. In the Bhagavad Gita, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor knew, nor all the kings, nor shall I in the future. Remember? In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says the same. Okay? So before all of this creation, I have always been there. Now what does Krishna say? O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it's without relation to me, has no reality. Everything. If this book cannot be somehow connected to Krishna, it is just material. If this laptop cannot be used in the service of Krishna, it is just material. If my house cannot be used in the service of Krishna, it is just material. Therefore, Krishna is saying in the second Chaturshloki that whatever appears to be of any value, if it's without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my Maya, that reflection which appears in darkness. So what is our goal? Connect everything in the service of the Lord. Dovetail every activity. Whenever there is forgetfulness of this prime relationship with the Lord, and whenever things are accepted as real without being related to the Lord, that conception is called a product of Maya. Okay? Because nothing can exist without the Lord, it should be known that the Maya is also an energy of the Lord. Remember the Virat Rupa? The smile of the Lord is the Maya. The right conclusion of dovetailing everything in relationship with the Lord is called Yoga Maya. Okay? The energy of the union. And the wrong conception of detaching a thing from the relationship with the Lord is called Daivi Maya. Daivi Maya or Mahamaya. Then the next verse, O Brahma, please note that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time they do not enter in the cosmos. So Krishna is giving all the elements to Brahmaji. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything and at the same time I can be outside of everything. Because the devotees dedicate their thoughts to me, I am simultaneously within their thoughts and also outside of them. But at the same time, I'm in the hearts of everyone. And finally, a person who is searching after the supreme absolute truth must certainly search for it up to this in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. Okay, so that should be our goal, searching for the Supreme Lord, because we have left him. We have forgotten our relationship with him. Okay. So then he explains that he appears in different incarnations after establishing the creation. In Kali Yuga, which are the avatars coming? Kalki is coming and Buddha was also there. Dwapara Yuga, Krishna comes back again. Okay. So thereafter, at the end of the millennium, the Lord himself in the form of Rudra, the destroyer, will annihilate the complete creation as the wind displaces the cloud. So at the end of Brahma's life, everything will be destroyed. Partial annihilation happens at the end of Brahma's day, night. Okay. So the nature of the material world is that it's first created very nicely, then it develops very nicely and stays for a great number of years. But after that, it's again destroyed during the night of Brahma without any resistance. And at the end of the night of Brahma, it is again re-manifested as a creation. So some devotees, they like to know more about the creation. But some devotees, they just enjoy the spiritual pastimes of the Lord. The Lord's feature of Ananda, or his pleasure feature, all right, Lord is in the Vaikuntha planets, which are eternal manifestations, and they always remain with his associates. And he enjoys transcendental loving service by his pure devotees. Okay. So we learned all of this. So Sarga happens at the beginning of Brahma's life, and Visarga at the beginning of Brahma's day. Okay. Partial annihilation, the creation, and then finally the destroying at the end of it. Okay. So that comes to the end of Canto 2. Okay, good. I think Canto number 3 we will start. Next week I'm going to Jagannath Puri, so I'm not able to. I'm actually coming back on Sunday morning, but then I have to rush to KL for the uncle's prayers, so I will not be around. But before I end the class, right? So Karuna Mai Mataji's niece, right? She was crossing the road in Bangalore, and she met with a very bad accident. Someone just came and hit her, and you know, she's working in Singapore, as you know. The niece is in Bangalore. If you all want to contribute something for the, you know, what the niece, the operations, etc., you can just speak to her. Okay. Can you also just put in Karuna Mai Mataji's contact number in the group chat so anyone can? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So with that, yeah, try to see how you all can help. Yes, Prabhuji. You should. Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So you set an example, bro. First and foremost, sitting over here, how many lifetimes have actually passed before we have reached this stage? How many lifetimes in our past life people have told us this, but we couldn't be bothered? Maybe we had the darshan of a sadhu and association, which gave us that sukriti. We are blessed. Now we have to set the right example. So when others see that, wow, this person is doing it and he's feeling so blissful, he's able to manage his Sanatan Dharma and Swadharma so nicely, then you become an example. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, when people see this, then they also want to follow your footsteps. Just giving jnana, it's very, very dry. But when we live that example and have that humility, that how long it must have taken me, you know, how many lifetimes it have taken me, suddenly that grace came for us to understand this. I think a very important point for us is also that association with devotees. If we just read the scripture by ourselves, it's very, very, very hard. I'll tell you my example. I used to read the Bhagavad Gita thinking like, wow, I've got the Bhagavad Gita with me, you know. Telling the rest of my family, what you guys know? I have got a Bhagavad Gita. Every time I read, I don't even understand what I cannot go beyond the first chapter. In fact, forget about chapter. I couldn't even go beyond introduction. One fine day, my Guru Maharaj came to Singapore. He gave a class. In that 10 years of reading the Bhagavad Gita, nothing was going in. But just by the association, I could understand within that 1 hour what I could not even understand in that 10 years of reading the Bhagavad Gita by myself. Okay, so that sukriti, that mercy has to come from someone, you know. So all I can say, Kishan Prabhuji, is that sometimes we just have to have patience with people. In fact, one of the rules of chanting is that we don't even want to preach to people who have no faith in God. Because what is going to happen is they will start making fun of the God, of the Lord. And it becomes an aparat. It becomes an aparat for them. You know, but devotees are still so merciful. They still want to go in. Explain. Yes, Kishan Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't ready to, Prabhu. Somehow the grace came. Coming to Prabhu's point over there, everybody have their own time, Prabhu. Everyone have their own time. So for those who are on the virtual class, right, we will stop the class. We are just continuing some discussions over here. So Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Okay. Those of you who want to connect with Karuna Mataji, Anuj Prabhu will send her number to all of you, and you can please, directly speak to her if you want to contribute something. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. And please bless me, and I'll pray for all of you all also. This Thursday, Wednesday, I'm going to, no, Thursday. This Wednesday, I'm going to Jagannath Puri. Okay. And this Tuesday is my birthday. I'll be 54 years old. So please bless me that I can remain in the service of Krishna always, and I can serve all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
May Lord bless you with all the glories.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Given this to everybody. Nice picture. Nice Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra picture.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh my God! I just said KRSP faster. How to mute, Papa.
All right. Thank you. Hare Krishna.